side, this is the people side. There's no actual physical interaction anymore, there's no beatings or anything like that. There was when the fence was being built, but in Ealing, the fence has not been built. Their popular actions have kept the wall from being built, and I get there just in time for the real heat of the things. And so in Ealing, town center, this small town, 4,000 or 5,000 people. Biggest building maybe might be 2.5, 3 stories. There's like 2 liquor stores, 25 businesses. Pretty small town. Orchard, lots and lots and lots of orchards. And then there's a settlement right here. Very nice, happy, pleasant settlement. Very green. All that water that's being pumped out of Palestinian wells goes to these lawns. Like no one has a lawn in Palestine. Well, settlements have lawns in Palestine. And these people actually come over here to get their cars worked on. These are Israeli settlers. They're they're kind of a mixture. There's a couple ultra-Orthodox, the guys with the hats and the curls. And there's some of these people that are just commuters. And they come here, they do business, they get cheap food here. There's never ever been an attack either way. There's no violence, not even name calling. They just kind of mind their own business, except for, they mind each other's business, except for small economic trades. But the wall is scheduled to go right through here. They're building, they have about that much done. So there's about 8 miles of wall that they're still working on. And I get there just in time for, things are getting heated up. And, small bulldozer. So I missed it. I tried to find this place. It's a little harder to find than in this nice little town of Ealing. And I tried to find it, and I missed it. But the protest right before I got to my first one, they finally got down into the construction site, and one guy, they kind of all line up, and the military wasn't there yet, and there's just like 10 construction workers, and they have their big giant 15-ton Caterpillar dump trucks, and the big one with the scoop's like the size of a pickup truck. And so they're looking at it, and one guy runs up, and I've seen the video, and the guy's dropping the scoop on him, and he's running, like he's like going this way, he's going this way, and the scoop is like landing right here, and finally he takes a big boulder, and he throws it through the window, and it smashes it, and the guy who's driving the scoop, he runs, and then like they smash all the windows, and they cut the gears, and they say, yes, this is awesome, like we're so excited that we finally get to smash something, not hurting anybody, but smashing these little bulldozer things. And the company that was in charge of building the wall was like, we're not putting up with this shit anymore. We're tired of getting hassled and people waving flags in our faces. So even though we got paid for it, we're not going to do it. And Palestinians and the popular groups, many of them are Israeli, they start getting pretty pumped on this. The people that go to these things this was a very interesting, diverse crowd. Usually they're about 75% Palestinian, and maybe the internationals, most of the internationals are Israeli. A lot of them, the big group that I worked with a lot was Anarchists Against the Wall, and many different people can call themselves anarchists. A lot of them were kids in black shirts and combat boots running around. A lot of international activist kind of kids, but the majority of them were people like me that came to do something kind of normal, white collar tie. They wanted to see what it was like for one time, and like all right, I've been here for 3 months, I'm going home, I'm gonna go to one protest right before I leave. And so there's always that one random girl who's doing research at UCSD for children's vitamin A deficiency, and all of a sudden she's in the shit. And it's really interesting, a very interesting atmosphere. So anyways, we started getting pretty active, and our goal now is to go every single time and lay down in front of these construction sites, and the crews get all pissed off and they go. And these are very popular again, men, women, and children, and then they end up putting up this barbed wire fence, or like a wall in front of the wall, and they start getting super serious. They say, hey, like we're not joking around anymore, no more warnings, you drive up, tear gassed on site. And so the first time I got tear gassed, I was like, dang, that really sucks. It might land near you, and it fills up a cloud the size of this room, and it blows your way, and it burns your eyes, and like your skin kind of burns. If you're wearing suntan lotion, it burns even double. Or if you have a cut on your face, it'll kind of burn. But that's not too bad. The first time I actually got tear gassed was in Ealing, and that's when the tear gas shell landed near me, and it takes a huff, and it completely restricts your ability to breathe, and it's kind of you can't do anything. It's like someone put just froze your entire lung cavity. So you can't, and you're running around and waiting. It kind of feels like you're drowning, and you can't really run because you can't really breathe, and like you're laying there. and eventually you start to dry heave, and then you get like a breath in between the dry heaves, and it really, really sucks. And I witnessed a lot of, I was in an orphanage, or sorry, like a daycare center one time, right over here, and we're watching a little mini skirmish between the local kids and the military, and they're shooting, all of a sudden they see us up. This is clearly a daycare center, and they shoot in the windows, tear gas shells into the windows of this orphanage center, and there's kids there about that big, and they're getting tear gassed. And I know how bad it felt as an adult, but I can also rationalize it, and I can understand to me what's happening. But the kids that were clearly not in any way, like, you have to turn around and shoot the other way. This happened many, many times. I saw this old lady who's about 85 that lived in Beeling. I saw her house get tear gassed just because she was nearest to it, clearly aimed for. I need to mention too, so the Israelis that are involved in doing this, it's military service is mandatory, and 18 to 21 for males, 19 to 21 for females, you're going in. You have no choice of it. My roommate she actually worked with retarded kids for about like a year and a half, and that qualified as her military service. That was after spending about a year of fighting it and writing all these pleas of how, trying to figure out some way that she can not serve but not go to jail. And within Israeli society, her not having served in the military, she's a total outcast. She has a really hard time getting a job. Her boss would always tell her, like, in military terms, you want to get this done, get this done. Oh, what, you're in the military? Ooh, things aren't good to you. Her family would come up to her, they would call her a traitor, they would call her, it was very weird. Imagine, it's like World War I, the amount of nationalism and national fervor. It's one thing I can maybe relate it to. So anyways, I start getting kind of into this. I get a little sucked in. I stopped going to my Thai job as much. I'm spending 3 days a week in the office, 2 days a week out, because I feel like we're doing something. We're stopping the wall from being built. We're stopping the people from having their olive trees demolished or burned. And so then they build this little razor wire fence. And again, these are very popular, demonstrations. There's a team of Scottish quilters against the wall, and there's 65, maybe 45 to 65-year-old ladies. They knit little Palestinian blankets and they sell them and they donate them to the anarchists. These are very, very old, rich, Nazi Catholic ladies donating. I've seen this lady just put money in pockets of these anarchist kids for legal offense, and it's totally legit because they get arrested and they're doing most of the work. They do the Anarchists Against the Wall. If you want really good footage of what's actually happening, most of the news agencies gets their reports back from the IDF, from the military news agencies, which is obviously biased. These kids are on the front line. They have video cameras. They have professional photographers. The #1 oil painter, he's like a 65-year-old man. The #1 oil painter in Israel also happens to have anarchist sympathies and has a 7,000 million times zoom lens, and he runs around and gets shot at, and he's like 65. It's amazing to see the popularity of how diverse the group is that is participating against the wall. And so they put the razor wire fence. They're like, whatever, it's not going to stop us. And I missed this day, and I'm very thankful that I did. They march up to the fence, and up to the little razor wire fence, and they start throwing stones on it to try and collapse it. These are big, giant spindles, about 9 feet of razor wire, which is like the ultra crazy barbed wire. Big, big, giant spindles, and they try and throw rocks on it so they can climb over it. And so they're throwing it, and 4 little kids. One of them had grabbed a pair of pliers from his dad's tool belt, and he's like, "Hey man, come with me, guys. We're gonna go over here." And so here's where everybody is, and they go like a quarter mile down the road, and they have a little pair of pliers, and they're trying to cut it. Israeli Jeep pulls up, guy leans out, shoots M16 round right at the kid's head, blows out the back of his head. He's 10 years old. His name is Ahmed Musa. He was 10 years old. He just wanted to cut the wall. He had to bring water in buckets, go through a wall checkpoint to go water his family's orchard. So everyone, the IDF, they're like, oh dang it, we killed someone. Okay, shut down the whole town. Nobody in or out. Unfortunately, there's only one little entrance to the whole town, and so it's really easy to shut it down. We climbed through the back like a month later, and it took us forever. So they shut down the town, and military